it's Tony Tattoo coming at you from the wonderful Kildares in the southwest of Calgary, Alberta. This is Wideopen Yyc. We haven't been here for a couple of weeks, people, but we've been busy doing things. It is summer, and we had a event here in Kildares where my band, and I'm going to shamelessly plug my band, Dirty Deeds DDC. And we had a great event along with DJ Kaz, and we had also another band that was Shirley Rocker. Great event. It was a fun night, and fun was had by all. Anyhow, Dirty Deeds is going to be playing again coming up in September. That would be September 7th, I believe. Yep. And so it's for actually a good cause. It's for Tush Fest. Tush Fest was designed or was created because of the fact that a bunch of bands back in the day were playing with a sound man, Wayne Tuchniak, who we call Tush. He was an awesome sound man. Like, the guy made you sound like thunder. And he had cancer, and then his biggest beef while getting his cancer treatments was the fact that he had to pay for parking and parking passes to the tune of $25 a pop, I believe, which is absolutely a disgrace in this day and age in a civilized country, I believe. So what we do is we raise money and we pay for parking passes for cancer patients. And, well, it's time for the report card. And I'm talking about Justin Trudeau's report card right now. Old Justin Trudeau, thus far, he's done absolutely nothing to better the lives of Canadians, and this may seem like a broken record, but I struggle to find something positive to say about our elected employees. You got that right? Our elected employees, they work for us. But so far, I just haven't found anybody who can seem to get that through their brain. The only positive thing the Liberal government has done was legalization of Mary Jane, or cannabis, or the herb, as they say in Jamaica. But still, that was rolled out with spectacular inefficiency. In other words, a troop of baboons could do better. And what can we pick on? Well, he's a complete embarrassment to our country. We can start with things like the SNC Lavalin scandal, where he was found in contravention of the ethics law twice. All right? The trip to India, where it was even fucked up. I mean, he even fucked up Bollywood dancing. It was like like ding 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 ding. He couldn't even do that properly. Banning plastic straws and replacing with paper straws in plastic cups. Really? Okay, so although I do agree with the fact that we need to remove plastics from the ocean, everybody is responsible for our oceans, not just Canada, okay? And banning the plastic straw is like just ridiculous. Putting legislation in place where Canadians who go overseas to fight with terrorist organizations are still allowed to keep their Canadian citizenship, like Jihadi Jack, for instance. Now this man's whining on TV about well, first of all, the smartest people in the world revoked his citizenship. That means the British Commonwealth, they said, no, mate, we're not coming back to our country, you can fuck off. Brilliant. And can we take a chapter of the book? No. It's got to be Canadian is a Canadian is a Canadian is a Canadian and be allowed back in the country. But I'll guarantee you, it will not happen before the election, because this is way too much of a hot potato for the Liberal government. It's not going to happen. And, judging by the way things are going, they're going to be back in power anyway. Leaving 2 Canadians who are being unlawfully detained in China and not doing a pip of anything about that. Like, do not understand that. No plan. No plan. That's a good name. Justin No Plan Trudeau. I love it. Purchasing a pipeline with a value of at least 2/3 over the asking price that they would actually charge, and notice that no shovels in the ground as of yet. No plan for China's sanctions against our agricultural industry, most notably canola, soybeans, pork, and beef. Nothing going on there. Everything just crickets. I'm sure, Dave, you're going to put that in later. I don't have to do it myself.
100%.
plan to provide clean drinking water to all Canadians, which is absolutely just blows my mind. How can Canadians anywhere in Canada not have clean drinking water? And I am talking about notably Indigenous populations or Indigenous places, which seems to be another hot potato for our bonehead who's in charge of Indigenous affairs, who can't seem to find his ass in both hands in his pockets. No plan to assist our war veterans. As far as we know, 3,000 are displaced and wandering around and living in squalor and shit. And I'm sure when it comes to, I'm going to reel back a bit to the SSNC Lavalin. His mantra is protecting Canadian jobs. That's what I was doing, and I will stand by my decision. I'm protecting Canadian jobs, which is a pile of shit because companies who employ Canadians are responsible to protect Canadian jobs, not the government. Correct me if I'm wrong. And the list goes on and on and on. 60 days until Election Day, people. I don't care who you vote for, just not him. All right, so let's do not vote for Justin Trudeau or the Liberal Party. Let fiscal responsibility and common sense reign again. All right, so I'm going to go to the panel right now. I've got DJ Kaz and I've got Dan. I said, what do you guys think about this?
Yeah, this does a lot of shit, but I really haven't seen anything actually come to fruition. We weren't supposed to have a deficit this large, but we do. Right. Really, I haven't seen any promises been followed through on, which I don't know. If you're on the right side, you get crucified for. If you're on the left side, you get a free pass or give him more time. He's out in September anyway. I don't really give a fuck.
Yeah. I'm trying to force your attorney general to do something that's both unethical and illegal.
Right.
Is just fundamentally wrong.
Exactly.
So, you know, what can you do? I think he's gone.
So you guys both believe, you guys both agree the fact that if you gave him any kind of grade, Dave can weigh in on this. I'd give him a big fucking F.
Well, yeah, and also
for failure to do anything.
Yeah, but also his stance on everyone is a Canadian, is a Canadian, is a Canadian. I feel really strongly that someone who leaves their country of citizenship, and he was lucky to have dual citizenship, having a father who was Canadian, a mother who was British, and I have that, and I am so grateful. To leave the country that has given you a home and go to Syria and fight with ISIS and expect to be
repatriated,
the welcome mat to come back. I don't understand Trudeau's thinking in that either. Andrew Scheer has come out blatantly to say how he feels about it, and I agree with him. You know, I know that legally someone can't be stateless, and I don't know how they're going to deal with that. But I don't blame my country of birth for doing what they did. They've had so many terrorist attacks in Britain. Yeah. They've got 60 million plus people on that small island. Mm-hmm. The last thing they need is to have someone in there who has caused horrific.
Here's some other Canadians: Carla Homolka, Robert Picton. You know, just because you were born north of the 49th doesn't give you some sort of sainthood that, oh, we all love you because you were born north of the 49th. Fucking serial killers, murderers, rapists, fucking drug dealers, and terrorist fighters. I don't give a fuck if you were born in Canada. You're a piece of shit, and I don't want you here. You chose to leave. You buttered your bread. Now fucking eat it.
Yep.
Yeah. So again,
he's allowed back in Canada. You know what? I will allow that motherfucker back in Canada. But you are going to be living on Queen Elizabeth Island or Baffin Island. Yeah. Those are your fucking options. All year round.
Yep.
All year round.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you want to come back? Here you go. This is your island. We're going to call it Fuckface Island. You're allowed to live here. I've
always said, to add on that, Dave, what do you think? But just for a second, I'm just going to make one point that I always thought that the best maximum security prison you could put anywhere in Canada would be exactly those places that you talked about, because it would be low maintenance, You would have one person standing in a guard tower, probably not even that. No, just a rope around where they are, and it's like, you know what?
You don't even need a rope.
If you want to leave, no, you got to have a rope, just some sort of, just kind of a guideline, like if you want to go beyond that, good luck.
It's going to be interesting to see what they do with him, though, because apparently you can't leave someone you can't leave someone stateless. So I don't know.
Ship him back to wherever the fuck he came from.
Well, he's in Syria.
Yeah, leave him there.
Yeah.
Tough titties.
Yeah.
Here's a good idea. Just do what other governments do and just have them whack between there and here.
I don't understand. He went over there.
Let the vultures sort it out.
He attempted murder in Syria by becoming an ISIS fighter. I'm sorry, you attempted murder, or at least aided and abetted other murderers. You are a criminal. There's a guy in Montana right now who's Canadian who's sitting on death row because he killed a guy in Montana, and he's on death row, and he's like, I want to come back. And the Canadian government's like, nope, you're a killer. See you later.
Right. So,
but what makes it different with this guy? Is it because we already have a bunch of Syrian refugees in the in Canada who have already been allowed in by the same government?
No.
Is that why this government is having such a rebellious gumption to say, well, it sucks over there, yeah, regular Canadians don't get it, he was brainwashed, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so what? He was fucking brainwashed.
He was raised in Britain. He was raised in Britain. He wasn't raised in Canada. He just has Canadian citizenship because his mom has Canadian citizenship.
So then he's not even fucking Canadian.
No, his father was Canadian. His mother was British.
Fact check. His father was Canadian.
He had citizenship of both countries.
Yeah, but he never spent any time here.
No, I think he'd been over here a couple of times, but only visiting.
Well, I've been to fucking Disneyland a couple times. That doesn't make me Mickey Mouse.
Believe me, I don't want him here.
Dave, what do you think?
Fuck him.
What if I went back to Ireland and fought for the IRA? Would I be allowed back in Canada?
No. I don't care what your beliefs are. You tried to kill people. You're a killer. I don't care if it was a holy war or not. You killed somebody. I don't care about your fucking reasons.
Exactly.
Why are we spending money to feed and clothe and bring back a guy who's
so
a fucking
therefore,
murderer?
if anybody goes anywhere in the world and kills somebody, they're not allowed back in our country.
Absolutely. That's a bad person. Why do you want to spend money on a bad person coming back into your country?
Especially if it's terrorist related, where it's,
No, death is death. Murder is murder.
Make an example of him. You want to stop all these kids getting fucking radicalized in Canada on websites and shit like that? Well, it looks actually like a pretty sweet fucking deal. If I got a beard, I'll fucking go over there and shoot somebody I don't know in the head, spend like a couple months in Guantanamo, and then get $10.5 million. It's not a bad fucking deal.
Well, if you're taking that business module, it's
not a bad deal.
What are we still doing here?
Exactly. Now you want to say, oh, we need to deter these young kids from being radicalized. Well, then fucking make an example out of somebody.
Yeah.
Don't give the next guy $10 million and say, oh, we'll bring you back even though you never lived here.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I think having citizenship in any country is a privilege, and if you go abroad and kill people through terrorism, hate crimes, whatever, you revoke it. Because
unless you live in a shithole.
Unless you live in a shithole?
Yeah. Yeah, you deserve citizenship in the country you come from, unless you live in a shithole and you're trying to get out.
Okay.
Yeah, there's lots of countries like that.
Okay.
Yeah. I could think of a few, but I'm not going to put myself in that position. So lightening things up a bit. Mayor Jimmy Kimmel has been named the honorary mayor of Dildo, Newfoundland. Yeah. The only catch is he has to visit the town to become honorary mayor.
Yes.
Thoughts?
Brilliant.
Easy Rider star Peter Fonda passed to the great beyond at the age of 79. Do you ever watch Easy Rider, Dan?
Yeah, that's the one with the motorcycles and that other guy, Crosby. No, Hopper.
Dennis Hopper,
Yeah. No, never saw it.
Never saw it? Oh, it was a big to do at the time.
I understand it was like a big hubbubaloo, but I never saw Peter Fonda in anything else, so I wasn't like, oh man.
Oh, you ever see Ghost Rider?
No.
No? Oh, you never seen the Nicolas Cage movie Ghost Rider?
No, I can't decide if Nicolas Cage is a good actor or not.
Oh, okay. Kaz, you want to weigh on that?
Sorry,
That's
Dave's
all right.
telling me not to walk. I'm going from side to side.
Well, I can say that, love, if you want. Quit fucking rocking. You're going in the damn shot. Edit here.
Sorry, Dan, man.
Dave, Peter Fonda.
It was a great movie.
It was.
The Fonda family, they were a little off.
I believe it kind of started the kind of the hippie revolution.
Oh,
right?
it totally did. Sure.
It was kind of like
Started the hippie revolution. Didn't the movie come out in like what 70?
Yeah.
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 You're telling me.
Hold on.
You're telling me.
It broadened it.
It broadened it and embodied. It kind of. It gave the hippie revolution
No way, man. Everybody
credit.
knows the 60s
We didn't
died.
have social media. We didn't have all that
The
shit.
60s died on December 31st, 1969. Everybody knows that.
Was the Manson murders?
No, it's the end of the fucking year.
That's what I thought. I thought the Manson murders ended the hippie era. Killing me. Iggy Azalea reveals the raunchiest gift a fan has sent her is a cup of cum.
Hang
His
on a
own cum.
minute. Hang on a minute. I just want to say that Peter Fonda's daughter, Bridget, she starred in one of the best movies ever made, The Point of No Return.
Oh, okay.
You
I
and
highly
watched
doubt that. I've never heard
It's
of it.
a great movie.
So in other words, that he donated some
of his acting
entertaining cum.
skills.
Now, who's Jane Fonda?
That's his sister.
And she was the exercise tape chick,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
I did her
She-
tape many,
she was also
and
married-
it was a tape back in the 80s.
Right.
Many
I
times.
was born in the 80s. I got some VHS.
She was
I
also
know what a
married.
tape
She was
is.
also married to Ted Turner, by the way, with CNN
Yeah.
and the Turner blah 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 Broadcasting Association.
Oh, without him, we wouldn't have CNN.
No, exactly.
Yeah,
Without-
CNN.
without Jane.
But without him, we wouldn't have WCW. So,
Oh, there you
Without
go.
Jane, we wouldn't have had leotards.
ooh, God bless Jane.
And,
For-
and leg warmers.
40 years ago today, Highway to Hell was released. One of the final actually album that Bon Scott did with the band before he had his demise. And I'll tell you, I thought it was the new album after Back in Black when it first was released, because I heard Back in Black first before Highway to Hell. And I was going, well, who's the lead singer for AC/DC? And it was like, no, mate, that man's passed away. I had a Jamie Stern moment, like when Lemmy passed away, and she was like, I'm aware. Sorry, Jamie, just had to bring that up. Any thoughts?
Hi,
What do you think of the album?
Hi, Shauna. What's that?
Nothing.
About AC/DC?
Highway to Hell?
Same album they always release, probably. Let me guess. There's a lot of songs in 4/4 time.
Oh, sure, and I believe A&E.
Yeah.
A-E.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dave?
To be fair,
What's that, Tony?
they're still making money.
AC/DC.
Back in Black.
No, Highway to Hell.
Highway to Hell.
What about it?
They all
40 years. Does that make you feel old?
Makes me feel old, that's about it.
Okay. All right, Lenny Kravitz, again, finally crawled out of the woodwork and where he came from to reinvent himself again. And tell you, I'm not a big Kravitz fan because I think he just slaughtered one of the best songs in rock and roll, American Woman. It was just a
I'll
fucking
tell you
piece
this,
of
Tony,
shit.
You know what?
Piece of shit.
The writer of that song praises him for covering that song.
It's because he's fucking high.
What?
High.
No, he's not.
Sure he is. Who
Come
wrote
on.
it? Who wrote it?
Burton Cummings.
High as a fucking kite. Come on now.
brought him back to Saskatoon.
Gonna tell you, they praised the man for recording that song because it fucking put money in the bank.
Well, exactly. That's the only reason. Other, it's a piece of shit.
I'm not a big
That was
fan
a
of
big
Lenny
proof
Kravitz.
that Lenny Kravitz could shit on a piece of cardboard and people would buy it.
I'm not a big fan of Lenny Kravitz either.
Yeah.
I like it.
Anybody else? Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Kaz.
What was the Iggy Azalea thing
Oh,
that I interrupted
you
you
have to
about?
bring that up again?
I'm so sorry.
the raunchiest gift she got from a fan was a
Cum in a cup.
Cum in a cup. Yeah. Some guy donated
You
his
need to
sperm
hear that
and
again.
sent it to her.
You have a similar story.
I never come to.
About the guy in front of you.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, that story already came out in early. You guys have to
okay.
watch earlier
Okay.
episodes for that one.
So she received cum in a cup.
Cum in a cup.
Did it have a lid?
I would imagine it did.
What did she do with it?
I don't know. she just called it the creepiest thing she ever got.
I
from
would
a fan.
submit it to the police and get that creepy motherfucker charged. That's a serial killer waiting to happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do the right thing
That's-
and arrest that human.
That's weird. And why, it's got no use once it's out.
Listen, I just read it in a newspaper
What's
and
it
fucking.
gonna-
I don't even know.
Wait,
I don't
how
even
does she
know.
know-
I don't even know who Iggy Azalea is.
How does she know it's semen? It could just be like really runny icing.
It could be snot.
She tasted it.
Oh,
There you go.
But it's no use once it's out of the penis,
The dick. Yeah.
cock.
Sure. Okay, well, I think we probably ran that one as far as it can go. So we're going to turn it over to Kaz and Dan. We're going to talk a little bit of footy talk, but also we're kind of changing that up a bit to sport talk
Yeah.
because we just don't want to put ourselves in a little box, right?
Yeah, we'll start a little bit on footy because we are following Cavalry.
the Cavs!
Cavalry!
The Cavs couldn't get it done against Montreal, but that's okay because we had a great run in the Canada Cup, and Montreal is a fantastic team.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Calgary, you guys are great. There wasn't a single ticket available for that match. I had people sending me videos from where their seats were. There was another guy in my section with a big beard. So there were a lot of doppelganger videos floating around out there. Don't be fooled, I'm the original, I'm the real one. This guy was some sort of an imposter. And then after that, Sunday we had a draw against Edmonton FC, and I gotta tell you, Calgary, I was a little disappointed. You didn't come out in the same amount of numbers. We were down here at Kildares Pub, and these Edmonton people come down here into our pub and start singing their songs about how weren't we great in the 80s when we had Christie and Warren Moon. I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention to how their songs were. I can only assume they were only talking about, oh, our main export is depression. Our buildings look like they were designed by Soviets. Your city's depressing and it sucks. That's why Pronger wouldn't play there and had to get dealt out of Edmonton. That's why you can't sign any decent free agents and you keep losing in every major sport
Oh man.
because it's a depressing place. And then you bring your depression down here into my pub. Take your depression, Edmonton, and beat it. Sick of you people.
Oh my. Wowza.
You're a toilet on the way to the
man.
on the Fort Mac.
Wow.
Toilet stop. That's all you are. Ooh, we have a big mall. Gives a shit.
Well, note to self: Edmontons don't actually go to the mall.
man.
it's their landmark. The tourists go to Edmonton's West Edmonton Mall.
I would just like to say that I'm really proud of Cavalry because they did get to the semi-final of
Yeah.
the club championship in their first season. So fantastic.
Absolutely.
And now we just got to concentrate on winning the full season championship of the Premier League now.
Yeah,
So get on with it.
Not entirely necessary. I mean, we're already in the final. I'd rather
So they're playing in
I'd
Cal.
rather rest up a little bit in this fall, get some injuries back. Unfortunately, we won't get Dean Machine Northover back. According to my sources, it's a torn ACL, and he will be out for the remainder of the season. But
Who's that?
Dean Northover.
Oh, okay.
Well,
But they're playing tomorrow night.
The Eddies actually did hit the post and the crossbar. We
Yeah.
were a little fortunate, and I remember saying to Tony halfway
Almost.
through the second half, we really need to.
I think your dad
we
put
really
it. I
need
think
to-
your dad put it very, very well. Like the goal doesn't move.
Yes, that's true. This is true. But I just felt like they needed to step it up a bit in the second half, and they did for a bit,
Yeah.
But it's.
Well, of course
It
they
is
had
what it
that.
is.
They had that goal at the end of the first half where it was called an offside, but it was like kind of took wind out of the sails a bit. Okay, so Danny, what's bugging you today?
Those two little shit rats who were killing people in northern BC, they found them dead. Hallelujah. I don't care. They're fucking murderers. Why do you care? Anyway, I was talking the other week about how the dad was already doing fluff pieces on them, saying that they're a product of a bad system and everything like this. And there's a couple more mass shootings down in the States, and it's violent video games, or Columbine High School. It's that damn Marilyn Manson, or a couple kids blow their heads off a shotgun. It's Ozzy Osbourne sings "Suicide Solution." Nobody ever looks at the fucking parents. Nobody ever says, "Hey, you know what? You probably fucked up as a parent." And no parent, I understand why you don't take any responsibility, but if your kid turns out to be a serial killer, you probably fucked up. And it wasn't outside sources or anything like that. You fucked up as a parent. Your job is to raise not a serial killer. And if your kid's a killer, you fucked up. And nobody ever seems to blame these parents. Nobody ever seems to talk about, you had the kid. You couldn't afford to have the kid, so you had to go to work the whole time. And your kid was raised by nannies who don't even speak the language. And then they go to school and they're taught by a fucking institutionalized system. You spend no time with them, and you don't have to help them with their homework because it doesn't matter if they fail, because they don't hold kids back anymore. And then it's, my kid's shot up the school. It's the bullies. Is it? Is it? Or maybe you should have just played catch with them just once in the backyard. Or maybe you should have told your daughter how you love her and how beautiful she is, so she wouldn't become a fucking anorexic junkie, blowing guys behind the 7-Eleven for a crack rock. I'm not saying that happens every time, but there's got to be some times where the parents are 150% responsible for the fucked up people out there. Mm-hmm. But nobody ever wants to fucking take this stance. And I'm getting tired of it, and I'm willing to take this stance.
Okay, so
okay, no rebuttal on that.
No. I was actually going to say, when we were growing up, we didn't have all the social media, all the technological advances that have happened now. We always went outside to play as soon as the sun was up, and didn't come in until the streetlights were.
Yeah, if you came in after the streetlights came on, you got shit.
We all went outside to play. We weren't looking at social media all the time, and I think, bullying we dealt with growing up was dealt with in the playground. These days it can happen so much more easy. Through, people just throwing nasty cyber shit to people.
Talking about keyboard warriors.
Right. That's one thing. I do agree with you about parenting. It is different. But also, there's that. I think the social media part of it is...
Well, the last two generations have had the worst parenting in history of fucking the world.
Now, what does that say? Because 28 of the 29 most deadly mass shooters on history grew up in a home without a father.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So you could, the argument can be made in a correlation that people from broken homes can end up being psychopaths. Yeah. And you can also look at the same for serial killers. Mm. I mean, like Dahmer, the Hillside Strangler, Richie Riz, all these guys. So the whole, kids now and kids then, there really is one correlating factor, that bad parenting and lack thereof, whether it's you let your kids go in their room and play video games, or you neglect the shit out of them, it really seems to all kind of end up in the same path.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
And back then, it wasn't bullying, because bullying, it happened back then, but now we're trying to stop the bullying. But that's not stopping, the mass shooters.
No.
So what I just wanted to say, are the mass shooters the new serial killers? Because it seems like there used to be a lot more serial killars in the 70s, in the 80s. John Wayne Gacy, Bundy, all these psychopaths. But there wasn't mass shootings back then. And now we have more mass shootings, but you don't really hear or get serial killers anymore.
Well, one of the things that, and I think we spoke about it a few times about bullying, and I'm old enough to say back in my day, was the fact that you got bullied, but then it would come to a point where you would make a decision in your head of whether you're going to be bullied for the rest of your life or whether you were just going to take a shit kicking every time you came to school. And it was a bit, and I wouldn't say considered, it was a bit of a rite of passage to actually get to the point where you went, fuck this is enough, I'm going to give it everything I got, I'm going to go after the guy that's doing it, or the people that are doing it. But back in the day, we did have a code. It was like, it was done by the bike racks, or it was done off school fucking property. And it was like it was an event. It was like all of a sudden fucking, oh, you know, this guy and that guy going at it and blah 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 blah, and all of a sudden, you know, we had a show, you know, and it was like, and the thing is, even if you lost, you still you still kind of upped your position, and you still were able to hold your head, even if you got a shit kicking. But if all you did was lay down and take it, then you had no respect whatsoever. Yeah. It was like, so...
But that's it. It was dealt with straight away. Cyberbullies just pile it on all the time.
Yeah, there was no gangs going at it. No. I mean, at that time, there was like, it was all mono and mono.
You can't get away in the schoolyard. You're in an enclosed physical area. Yeah. A bully will outrun you, will catch you, and a bully is always going to be around you in that schoolyard because it's a physical confined area. Yeah. Cyberbullying...
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Close that fucking laptop.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's not as bad as it used to be.
Again, and that comes down, like you said, it comes down to the parents actually watching their kids.
Yeah.
And giving them certain amounts of time to be on social media, on online. I agree with that totally. Absolutely. I
can say this stuff because I'm not a parent. It probably is really difficult to raise a kid and be around your kid, but you know what? It probably also isn't. Because 99.99% of kids out there don't shoot up schools. 99.9% of kids out there raise it up and become normal adults. But that 0.1%, you fucked up.
What's your opinion of, for instance, of raising kids now where, you know, back in our day, it was like we knew where the woodshed was. you know, let me point you the way.
You know how back in the day that is? I don't even know what "you know where the woodshed is" mean. Like, is that some sort of like old school?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
you
basically. No, seriously, what it meant was the fact that that's where you would have to go out and cut your own branch, you cut your own switch. And you get a bit of an ass beating, right? It wasn't ever considered abuse of any sort. It was like, you know what, you know the rules of the household. Yep. You break the rules. This is the consequence. And now in day and age, there doesn't seem to be any consequences attached to anything.
See, interesting.
Except for what we talk about, where they're unintended consequences.
Yeah, unintended consequences. Interestingly enough, like I got spanked and stuff like that to the point where I would do something stupid and I would just turn around and be like, "All right, spank me."
Yeah, but that's the reason why you're so socially well adjusted.
Did you?
I'd just be like, "All right, let's get it over with." But my parents realized that kind of wasn't working anymore.
Yeah.
And their biggest threat was sending me to my room to be alone. I hated that. I really couldn't stand that. And I'm starting to wonder now, since we brought this up and I'm thinking about it, when you take away the spanking and, okay, that's your punishment, it's over, and you send them to be by themselves, if you have a kid who's already acting out, is confining them in a timeout and isolation and isolating them further. Yeah. Does that alienate them further from a group society mentality and only make them more of a loner? I mean, I don't have a psychology degree or anything like that. I'm just rife in here, but why not?
All right, Dave.
I just like to say this. Should we be talking about parenting or mental health?
I was just going to say, that was my next thing.
Same difference.
Mental health.
No, it's not.
You fucked up people raise fucked up kids.
No.
No. Mental illness can be genetic just as cancer, heart disease. And I know because my grandmother suffered from depression, my mother has suffered from depression and anxiety, and it hit me. and I suffered in 2010, and I'm not afraid to say it, I'm on anti-anxiety medication now. It's
But that wasn't anything to do with the way her parents raised her.
no, it's
what
genetic.
I get to.
Yes, I just said.
That's
And
what
I'm
I'm
sorry, I
saying.
hate to use the term fucked up now
No.
because we're talking about you, but fucked up people raise fucked up kids.
Well, some.
And you just said it was genetic, so
Yes.
they passed that down.
Yes. Yes, but I think
They didn't.
now
They weren't on
we are
meds. They
still,
didn't handle it.
Well, we're still learning about mental
Yes.
illness. It's an ongoing thing.
Yeah.
It's only recently that people have started realizing, mental illness does need to be treated just like a cancer patient would, because it does cause people to commit
I had
suicide.
a great grandmother who never made it out of the institution once she was committed.
Yeah.
I have to say that this is good points, but it's also we could do a show around it, and we do have people actually that
For
want to come
sure.
in and weigh in on this.
Absolutely.
Even people out there right now that are watching the show, you want to weigh in on this type of thing. There are some things out there you can't ignore, and if you see signs of things, I mean, depression, anxiety have different faces, and usually they're like this. Oh, everything's fine. Everything's fine.
But inside-
Alcoholism, drug addiction, that's
Yeah.
all under those too, because those
Yeah.
are mental illnesses.
Yeah.
If you have a problem with those, get checked out. If you want to come on here and talk to me, you are a guest on our show.
Yes.
I obviously won't be as strenuous and in your face as I am with our guests here, so don't be afraid to come on here and talk to us. We're actually decent, reasonable people.
All right, so you know what?
There's
Good.
one more thing I just wanted to talk about.
Last words.
Okay, no, it was about, it's going back to footy talk. They just brought the video assistant referee into Premier League football in England.
Oh no.
Yeah, and it's causing a bit of an uproar, and I wouldn't mind hearing some comments about this, because I was watching the game on Saturday morning between Tottenham and Man City, and the video assistant referee came into that game for one reason, and this was because of another new rule in Premier League football, the new handball rule.
Right.
Basically, and this is what happened, any goal scored or created with the use of hand or arm will be disallowed this season, even if it is accidental. And what happened, if any of you saw it,
You hear that, Maradona?
well, that wasn't accidental. That was totally deliberate.
Yeah, fuck.
Him and his hand of God. It was crossed into the penalty box, and it hit one of the Man City players on the shoulder accidentally, which sent it to Gabriel Jesus, who scored, who shot it, and it went in the net. Well, they were all celebrating. The referee on the pitch gave it and everything, and then suddenly, in his earpiece, the video assistant said, "No, it's got to be under review. We think there was a handball." This was in extra time. Okay, a 92nd minute, I think it was. Man City and Tottenham, two of the top clubs in the Premier League. Difference is, 1 point for a draw, 3 points for a win. It was disallowed. So and of course the player who scored was absolutely, he couldn't believe it. The crowd were confused because they didn't know immediately it had been disallowed.
Yeah, he probably got red carded.
No, he didn't.
Oh, okay. Just like he lost his shit.
It's kind of like, I'm used to it because of Toronto in the hockey, the reviewing system there.
The video review, yeah.
Yeah.
NFL's had it in there for a while. They're still working out the bugs. NHL's had it in there for a while. They're still working out the bugs. Major League Baseball is dipping their toe into it. Technology has gotten really good. You can see things in high def and better than the naked eye.
I would love to know who that poor fucking Toronto is when all the NHL games are going at the same time and having to review all these shots, because even one game there are at least 4 reviews and shots and bullshit and everything
It's
else like
probably a team.
You think?
I'd like to know what other people
Just
think
one
about it.
Poindexter in there being like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, I understand it for big decisions,
Yeah.
but for small things or for an
You just
accident.
said both these teams are up there, and
I know.
there was between 1 point or 3
I
points.
know.
I could have grave ramifications later on in the
Yes,
standings.
absolutely.
It's gotta be done.
But do you think it could be too polished?
Yeah, but who then
No.
decides what's important and what's not
Exactly.
The
important?
bookies.
Give me an A or give me an F.
The
But I'd
bookies.
be interested. Anybody.
Follow the
leave a
money.
comment.
I've always said follow the money.
Them
Leave a
damn
comment.
Irish gangsters, that's who.
And the US Tennis Open starts this weekend. Go Bianca.
There you
Bianca
go.
Andreescu, our fantastic Canadian girl.
She's
who
the one that's
behaved-
attached to her trainer. Look, you know, they kind of do the three-legged race
She's
through
a
the whole
brilliant
game.
player. She's a fighter,
She is.
and
She's
she acted with
fantastic.
class when Serena had.
I want to see a win for Milos.
Yeah. We'll be sitting here with cobwebs on that one.
What do you think, Dave?
Any final words there, Mr. Dan, on any kind of topic, anything?
I come off a little harsh sometimes. That's only because I'm so passionate about what I feel. Sometimes I use the inappropriate or wrong language to describe what I'm trying to get across. I don't necessarily think and feel those things. When I say fucked up person, I don't mean you're a fuck. I mean you are fucked up, and it may or may not be your fault. Don't take what I say too seriously, and understand it comes from a place of trying to better not only myself, but the people around me.
Excellent.
Peace, love, hugs, and kisses from Kazzy.
All right. This has been Tony Tattoo. This has been Wide Open YYC. Please share the conversation with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and we'll be here. You know what? Just pick somebody this week and be nice to them. And keep it between the ditches.